Sometimes I have my videos all figured out for the week, and inevitably something happens and you have to do a different video, and that's never really a big deal, honestly. But today something happened that I wasn't expecting, and I decided to make a video about it, and this will replace what I normally do here. So today we learned that we lost Bob Jenkins, and I know some people watching this are too young to remember who Bob Jenkins was, so and his importance to the sport of NASCAR. So I'll briefly sort of go over what he meant to me. Just a fan that was watching the sport. In 1979 or 1980 or something like that, when ESPN got started, Bob Jenkins was the pretty much the only motorsports on-air talent or broadcaster or whatever, anchor, whatever you want to call him. Back then, in the early days of ESPN, he announced on shows Speed Week and NASCAR on ESPN, as well as called the races with Benny Parsons and Ned Jarrett. And to put in perspective the importance of this, ESPN was the only sports network back then dedicated to sports. So pretty much all of your NASCAR coverage on TV came from Bob Jenkins, Benny Parsons, and Ned Jarrett. With the exception of if you lived in North Carolina or somewhere, your regional, you might get a minute or two from your regional sports coverage. So Bob Jenkins was pretty much your guy for NASCAR back then, because ESPN was the only game in town. He also announced for IndyCar, kart, IMSA, F1, drag racing. I mean, pretty much any motorsport back then, you were going to hear Bob Jenkins' voice, and it was a very distinctive voice. And even when I think back on races that he might not have even called, just the way your memory works when you remember things, I remember his voice calling them, whether or not he was calling them or not. So he was a big part of me becoming a NASCAR fan. And he sort of ESPN and ABC lost the rights to NASCAR in about 2000. So about that time, I sort of lost touch with what was going on in Bob's life. After he left ESPN, he went and worked for NBC from 2009 until 2012, calling IndyCar races for that network because they had gotten the rights to IndyCar by then. And he left in 2012 because his wife had brain cancer, and he took care of her while she battled brain cancer. In October of 2012, she lost her battle, and in 2013, he returned back to broadcasting. He went and worked as the PA announcer, essentially, for the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and that was the job he held until he passed away today, at the age of 73 years old. And while his contributions to motorsports will always be remembered, I hope what is equally remembered is Bob Jenkins' dedication to his family and to the people he loved, and his enduring positive and upbeat spirit. Yeah, so that's the video for the day. Rest in peace, Bob Jenkins. You will be missed.